Hello, peeps.
Hi, my dudes.
Today we are here on an episode of My Obnoxious Classmates, which we are transferring the entire series over to this channel and off of my tiny channel.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, damn, boy.
I forgot to tell you.
That's nice to know.
I made a little community post about it.
Oh, I don't read your community crap.
I think that you commented on it.
Did I? I don't read it. I just comment on it. It was really, really long, and I didn't want to read all of it, so.
It wasn't that long. It was just changing over the...
It was long, my dude.
Okay, it was
start.
long.
Let's go. This is the world's longest intro.
Yes. Why are you doing this? So in case you didn't notice, we have a new microphone, which is pretty great.
Well, it's not really new. We just discovered that we had it.
Yeah. It was a snowball microphone, so I just didn't know what it was. Even though it says blue microphones on the side.
I never even realized that we had it.
So yes, today you're here to talk about some very special individuals.
Very special.
Called, that we're going to call Jeorge with a J and Justin. So,
there's no way to really introduce these individuals, so
no.
Let's just jump in.
Okay.
To a giant pit of death. And
should we just start with my only interaction with them because they're your classmate, or should we?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is KJ or Guardian or Jane.
KJ.
Yeah,
that's what we're calling her.
We're calling me KJ because I hate my middle name. I don't hate it. I just don't like it. Juice. So yes,
her middle name is Juice. Everyone.
I love that.
What?
Because it would be like Beetlejuice.
Oh my god.
Bleep! Or Juice. You just said my real name. Now I need you to bleep that. Bleep! Yep. I'm editing that over that. So, yes. So, my only interaction was with Jeorge. And that was, during
He's a
lunch.
chunky boy. No, he's not. I mean, he's chunkier than Justin.
It was during a lunch.
Please don't ever watch this, Justin and Jeorge with a J.
It was during lunch, and I wish we were just sitting there eating lunch like normal people during lunch. Why are you...
Talk near the mic, you doofus!
Fine!
What's
you're
the
sitting
point
there
if you're sitting
eating like normal people during
away?
Lunch. You know, we weren't saying horribly inappropriate things like other classmates seem to think it's an appropriate thing to do during lunch. Sorry. And then... just all of a sudden, a piece of cheese comes flying at my table. And my best friend, what should I call my best friend?
Sharon.
Sure, Sharon.
She looks like a Sharon.
My best friend, Sharon, just went over and looked at them and is like, if you do it again, I'm telling the principal. Because they were all laughing, and we all knew that they had done the wrong thing. And they laughed, and then another piece of cheese comes flying at my table. So then, much to their surprise, for some reason, Sharon gets up and tells the principal, and they get yelled at for throwing a piece of sliced cheese at my table.
This was her only interaction with Jeorge she's ever had in her entire life.
Yep,
that was just that.
Yep, just throwing a piece of cheese at my table.
But if you think that's bad, just wait till we get to the rest of this stuff.
God, yeah.
So, let's go next to the Nico Nee story, which if you don't remember, the last episode...
we might redo that one.
We probably will redo that one. But for now, what were we calling her in that? Karen?
Yeah.
We were calling her Karen. And she'd always do this thing, and she'd go, Nico Nee! And the boys would mock her. So Justin and Jeorge would always mock her and go, Nico Nee! Nico Nee! So, there's that. Just felt like mentioning that.
Mm-hmm.
This was a long time ago in elementary school. They had a thing called the Brotherhood, which was where all the jock kids in my class, or in the entire grade pretty much, got together and had secret meetings about how to get out of school or conquer the girls.
It was a tiny school, by the way. It wasn't that big. We have a small school.
There was like 10 people in it, though.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big brotherhood. And my best friend, what should we call him? Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan, who plays sports, but doesn't hang out with these kids. He hangs out with the losers like me and my friends. And they included him in the Brotherhood, so he spied on the Brotherhood for us. That was pretty gnarly, my dude.
Yep.
We're just doing these in terms of least best stories, like least funny, so. How about the dare?
Yeah.
Last year, right before school ended, we were doing Truth or Dare, and one of the girls in my friend's group, I think we called her Sock.
Yep.
She went up to, or she dared everyone to hug Justin, and Justin was really confused because he had no idea what was going on. But so we were outside at the lower field at our school where we hang out when we're not doing work or whatever, and we walked over to him, and everyone went, and he just kind of stood there holding his shoes, really confused. And then when my best friend Ryan came, he hugged him back, which is really weird because they're not friends at all and they despise each other, but he hugged him back and chased him to the ground.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Okay.
There's so much stuff to cover, my dude. Let's do one about Jeorge. The last few have been about Justin.
Well, there aren't as many about Jeorge as there are about Justin.
This was another story from last year. Jeorge called our teacher a hippo. I think that explains itself. He got screamed at and sent to the office. And also suspended. Because that was like the strictest teacher in the school. And we were taking a break from class because we'd been working for a while. And the teacher says, "Okay, guys, what do you guys want to do?" And he votes for a game, and his game doesn't get chosen. She goes, so he looks at her, the teacher, and goes, "You hippo." And she's like, "What did you just call me? Hippo. Get out!"
So yeah, which one do you want to do next? We'll save that one probably for last.
The seltzer incident.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. The seltzer incident. So I used to take flute lessons with my best friend. We have not, well, one of my best friends, I have like 5 of them. What should we call her? Allison. We'll call her Allison. And we were heading to flute practice, and we were almost late, so we were kind of rushing. And I get up, and I'm going to go throw away the stuff on my tray, because I was having hot lunch that day. And I go to compost it, and I have a seltzer can on my tray. And one of the boys comes flying out of nowhere and bumps into me, and my seltzer drops on the floor, and it spins around in a circle, spraying seltzer all over the gym. And we have to stay and miss our flute lesson to pick it up.
That's fun.
Because the real culprit had run away. Away from the crime scene. And I don't remember if that was Justin or Jeorge, but it was one of them. I didn't really get a good look at it. They came flying around the corner and then just left immediately.
Sounds about right.
Okay, now we're getting into some of the juicy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
This was just a little while ago, because boys were bored in quarantine. I only have Justin in my class, not Jeorge, this year. But my French teacher was talking, or he was doing class, and Justin was bored. So he pulls down his pants and starts twerking on the desk.
Well, you didn't tell me you pulled down his pants.
Well, he was wearing boxers, but he pulled down his pants and started twerking on the desk. And and the only thing the French teacher does is he just goes, "Justin, get out, and we're going to do textbooks now." Except we didn't actually end up doing the textbooks. Okay, here's one. Justin would walk into classes that he wasn't in. So, for example, he wasn't in any of my classes here, but I saw him every day because if he didn't like his class, like if he had a history test or something that he didn't want to do, he'd just leave the classroom and come sit down at a desk in my classroom or another classroom and just not do the work until the principal had to come get him. Okay, and that leads us into our next topic, which is Justin. Just the other day, we had a math test, and he wasn't in the room at the time when the teacher announced it, so he walks into the room, he bursts into the room, and just goes, "What are we doing today?" And one of the girls in my class goes, "We have a math test." And then he just freezes at the door. He just stops, he looks around the room for a moment, glances right at the math teacher, glares at her, and then says, "I'm going on a yellow pass," and doesn't come back for the rest of class.
Which is weird, I didn't even know if those existed in the high school, but okay.
Yellow passes are like take-a-breaks, but in the office. So you go on a yellow pass and you sit in the office for 5 minutes, take a break from class. He has those a lot just to get out of class, and then he doesn't come back, and then some teacher has to come get him.
I almost got sent on a yellow pass one time because I refused to do gym. My best friend did too, Sharon.
So Jeorge, I don't know if these weirdos were playing a joke on me or something, because, okay, so a while ago, like in 4th grade or something, the boys would have this thing where they'd come up to people and ask them out, and if they said yes, they'd go, "Just kidding," and walk away. So I don't know if that was what they were doing to me. I didn't say yes because they're kind of jerks sometimes. But so Jeorge walked up to me one time on a field trip. We were at the beach, and he just comes up to me and says, "Hey, will you go out with Justin?" And I just kind of look at him really confused. And then he laughs and runs away. And then he comes up later in the same day and does it the same thing again. "Will you go out with Justin?" "No." Okay. So yeah. We have 3 more stories left, and these are all pretty...
I thought it was 4 more.
4 more? Oh yes, 4 more. We'll go with Bueno.
Okay.
So Bueno. I don't really know how to say this. They just call me Bueno for some reason, which means good in like Spanish or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they know that that's what it means, because they're kind of stupid. Sorry, guys. But yeah, Bueno. They call me good, and I don't like it. And every single day they say that there's a party at my house after school, and then they come back the next day and talk about how great the party was. And I said, okay. And last time they said that they were all over our dad at the last party.
Which I hope it doesn't mean what I think it means.
Yeah, they were like, hey Kai, we were all over your dad last night at the party. And I said, okay, I didn't know about this. So Justin, one day after history class, he came up to me and my friend Sock, and so he was just going around the hallways and hugging everybody for some reason.
This was before.
Yeah.
I actually have to bleep that because YouTube will sometimes... I guess we can't be demonetized because we're not even monetized already, but I don't know. Continue, sorry.
So he walked up to me and Sock, and he has his arms outstretched in a hug, and we both dodge him, and he starts chasing us through the hallways, and we run into the nearest girls' bathroom, which is, like, many, many feet away, like, around a giant corner, like, halfway through the school. He chases us halfway through the school, and, the sock escapes into the bathroom, but I lost part of my soul that night. It was not good.
Didn't he chase Sock into the bathroom?
He chased both of us into the bathroom,
Oh.
but he got to me first.
Oh.
We'll save the flute practice story for last, because that's one of my favorites.
Yes.
We have two more stories to tell about. They're about, one of them's about both of them, the other one's about Justin. So, food fight. This happened in 6th grade. So, right? Yeah, I have good math. Shh.
Don't tell him our age. Jeez. Bueno.
In 12th grade.
Yup. Where?
In 13th grade. So I was sitting at my table with my friends, and one of my friends that day, we'll call him Joe.
Joe Mama. No, it's kidding.
Joe is sitting at the table because he has a friend in the jock group, and the jock group was sitting next to our group, or where their table was next to ours that day. So they were sitting at the table, and they were egging on one of the people sitting at my table. I think it was actually Karen. I think Karen was sitting at my table that day because she follows me around.
She did the same thing to me.
And so they were egging on Karen. So Karen throws a piece of like Brussels sprout or something at him, and then they throw it back, and then just our two tables break out into a food fight, and everyone like not participating is looking really uncomfortable and just kind of sitting there. And then they had to stay after class to pick up the food and
have in my mouth
and talk to the principal. And now the final story.
Oh heck yeah.
Remember how I mentioned I had flute practice? Apparently that can't end well with Justin. He just wants to ruin my flute practice. So, let's start here. The music teacher, the band teacher, he's a grumpy old man.
What about the slime part?
And I will.
Okay.
He's a grumpy old man. And so just keep that in mind. He has a cane, and he just kind of toddles through the halls.
Toddles? You're so mean to him.
He's mean to me. He's a good teacher, but he's strict and he's mean, and nobody really likes him. But he's still a good teacher. He's good at his job. Nobody asked. I mean, KJ. So, back to the main part of the story. We were in math class, and slime was banned from that class because Karen stuck it in the computers. I think we covered that in the Karen video.
We did.
But Karen stuck it in the computers, and so we had slime banned from our class. And Justin pulls out slime from his pocket, and the math teacher sees it and comes over to him and says, "Give me it." And he goes, "Okay," and then splits it in half behind his back and gives her half of it. Says, "All of it, Justin." He splits it in half and gives her more. "Justin, do I need to call the office?" And then he just takes off a tiny piece and gives her the rest. And it's like, "Okay, that's it. Go to the office." And he's like, okay. And then he walks out of the room and stands at the door so that the math gets people's attention and starts dancing around at the door. So the math teacher pulls the shades and calls the office. And then, so he goes all the way around to the science classroom, which is connected to the math room, and comes in through a door there, on a side door in the math room. And then
disrupting the science class.
He walks all the way through the science class without a word, just to go into the math class and egg the math teacher on. Mm-hmm. And so he gets sent to the principal's office, or he's supposed to. The teacher tells him that the principal is coming, and then he runs out of the room, and we don't see him for a while. And then I have flute practice, so me and Allison have flute practice. Flute practice. So we're going through the halls on our way to practice, and Justin comes up to us and follows us to practice. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" We're like, And when we walk in, the band teacher's like, "Who is this? What are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm here for band." And he goes, "No, you're not." And Allison says, "He's supposed to be in the office right now. He got sent to the office. He's in a lot of trouble." And then Justin darts out of the room. And then the band teacher he follows him out of the room and chases him through the halls, like the 60-year-old man chasing him through the halls.
He's in his 50s, actually.
Whatever, he looks old. He's chasing him through the halls with his cane in the air, shouting at him, while the rest of the band class is just dying of laughter.
A little spoiler for future episodes. This isn't the only time this happens, but it's just different people. This little teaser for you.
Anyway, so that's all we have for today.
Yeah, I guess so.
Stay tuned.
That's really creepy.
I know.